embarrassing Raz in a push-up contest did not.
Actually,
okay,
we could use some more of that in the future.
I didn't realize I was going to embarrass Raz in the push-up.
You're probably the only person in the world who didn't. Let's go ahead and get into our draft, though. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Captain Flowers, joined by Azael and Emily Rand here for our second elimination series this week. LYON on the blue side, 100 Thieves on the red to start this one off. Poppy, Yone, Pantheon banned by LYON. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's Yunara, Azir, and Aurora removed by 100 Thieves. Varus is the first pick here for LYON, and honestly, the thing that surprises me the most, Pantheon being banned on blue instead of being the normal red side tax.
Yeah, and Talia Vi are both up. So you could actually go Talia Vi as a combo here on red side for your 1-2. Seems pretty powerful, but instead they are going to go in towards the Rumble Wukong. So a lot of team fight power here. Definitely looking to punish that Varus.
Another champ we have seen not kind of get through pick and ban as frequently in the LTA, I think, is Annie, which is also up. If 100 Thieves want to potentially lock that in as their third, pairs super, super well with the Wukong, as we know. But yeah, Varus getting through is also just kind of surprising to me, as is, you pointed out, the Pantheon ban on blue side, not wanting to pick that up, as we see Zhao and Orianna locked in.
Yeah, the Ori feels like a little bit of a denial pick here when you're seeing the Wukong. Ori, such a strong combo here. They're not really wanting to give that up. But it does mean that, of course, you're going to be able to get counterpick of mid lane if you want it right here, or match that ADC in the bot lane. And you're going to be able to throw protection bans for that Rumble if you think that it is necessary. So I wouldn't be surprised to just see Victor, but instead they're going for a much more aggressive option. We're actually going through the pick ban quite quickly, and it is going to be a Akali for Quid. So triple melee, it's all kind of dive here on that top side. Gonna really be looking to punish these low mobility carries that LYON have drafted for.
Yeah, that's not at all what I was actually expecting from 100 Thieves. But I do think, and I mean, we can talk about after this game one, we see what happens, whether the rumors are true if 100 Thieves is quote-unquote back or not necessarily in scrims, but they did have drafts like this, right, where we're going to put Quid on something he's super, super comfortable on, can take over the game. Rivers hopefully going to be pretty active in a lot of these early skirmishes and fights as well. And I mean, I like seeing this out of 100 Thieves because I feel like sometimes the split, they've kind of drafted these slower scaling compositions that didn't necessarily fit the core of this 100 Thieves team identity.
They absolutely have. I mean, people really identified Quid, you know, in the past and throughout his career in the LCS/LTA as a melee specialist in mid lane. This is his first melee champ he's played the whole split. You know, not just the Akali, but period. So he has not really been going heavily towards that. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs. There are kind of the expected protection bans for that Rumble coming through. Yorick, really great matchup, and just wanting to take away the Sion. I think that is important to be denying some of these tanks. They do not have a tank-killing team whatsoever.
All right, 2 top lane bans from 100 Thieves in that second half. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Jhin and the Sivir both going to be removed, so double AD carry targeting coming out here from LYON. But if you're talking about something that might be able to stay away from trouble, of course, that Ezreal could have been an option. Instead, they're just going to go with some laning power. They're going to grab the Corki for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and they will save themselves a support counterpick here on 5, so they're going to get to be able to see that full bot lane. Nico is still up and available, so if you want to go for bot lane power, Nico definitely an option here. Alistar going to be the pick because that is a pairing with the Orianna to give both some hard engage and a way in. Honestly, I would not be surprised at all to see Nico. I feel like it does kind of fit the theme of the comp here pretty well, and would give them a lot of prio in the 2v2, especially early on where Alistar does not add much.
Meanwhile, the response to that Rumble up in the top side, despite the continued focus on the top lane in the second half of the bans there with the Sion and the Yorick that you mentioned, Isaac. Ambessa still gets through. Popular champion. You can do a lot to carry with this. We got to see that a little bit yesterday even, but this time it'll be SrTT piloting it into Dhokla's Rumble. Yeah,
I was going to say Nico, or the other one I was thinking about is Rakan, just because it's comfort for Eyla. You're not going to play like a Rel or something like that into the Alistar, and his most played is the Rakan, so this is just a lot of hard engage. Obviously much less about that 2v2, but this is just full dive, right? Like this is a very one-dimensional comp that 100 Thieves have drafted for. Alistar can help to disengage a little bit, and they have some decent counter engage, you know, with his Zhao. I feel like if LYON had gone towards a Renata or something along those lines, it would have been, I think, pretty unlosable. But I do feel like both comps have some good opportunities here.
I just realized we have the 2 Renata enjoyers on this cast.
I love Renata. It's OP. When you see a first 3 like that from 100 Thieves, I am clicking Renata.
Lock it in. As long as she's not with her friend.
They're not friends.
Renata is invited to the party.
They broke up.
Renata's invited to the party. There are no +1s under any circumstances. Absolutely not. If I never see Kalista again for the rest of my life, it'll be too soon. Renata's always welcome, but neither one of them's in this game. Instead, it's some full send coming out here from 100 Thieves. I'm so excited to see Quid back on a mid lane carry like you guys are talking about. This feels so important for 100 Thieves if they want to lock in, if they want to stay alive here. You gotta win from this point on. Lower bracket is a scary place, and for both of these teams, there's a lot to prove here with this lower bracket debut.
Yeah, and I mean, it's default to comfort for the core of this roster, which I also really like, right? Like, I think, again, there have been some 100 Thieves drafts this split that I think have been objectively good drafts, but haven't necessarily suited what I've come to thought of from this 100 Thieves team. So we will see how they will do going up against LYON here early. The big thing to me, as we see River potentially looking for a little something here.
Well, it's level 1 Wukong. There's not a whole lot of little somethings you can really get, so health bars take a couple of dents and everybody goes home.
I'm always like, come on, something's gonna happen. It's like, no, they don't
jump on you.
They don't have it level 1. You know, I'm still reeling from the KT win last night, you know?
your adrenaline's just pumping? Okay.
But I did want to talk about the expectations for this kind of core of the 100 Thieves lineup, right? Because I think when roster first started, we were like, okay, you know, talking to the staff. I remember you talked to Jungle Juice, Azael, and he was like, you know what, we're going to see how we can do with this roster. We have some talent that we'd like to develop, but we don't have super high expectations, right? But they defied expectations all throughout last year, especially with a few roster swaps. Then going into this first split, I, again, didn't expect them to beat FlyQuest in Brazil. As River pointed out, that's one of his favorite memories with this team. But then this split, they've really, really struggled.
They have, and their opponents, though they are in the lower bracket, their strength of schedule that they had to play against was incredibly difficult, right? You know, their 2 losses are just to C9 and FlyQuest, the expected top 2 teams. These are the 3 teams that you had to play. You beat TL, you lost to C9 and Fly, and you find yourselves here in the lower bracket. So, you know, talking to SrTT, he was saying, hey, he thinks they are maybe the 2nd or 3rd best team in the league currently, though he needs more stage games to see. So clearly they have a lot of confidence. It's not just the community saying that this is a strong team. They do believe it themselves. And I think based on strength of schedule, they might be right.
They believe it themselves, and just talking to a lot of players behind the scenes, they've also said on and off the record that they think LYON is much better than their stage performance because of that rough strength of schedule.
It's a tough assignment to have to deal with the most difficult possible opponents and then have that be used as what seeds you into the lower bracket to be fighting for your life from the very beginning. But it also means that if LYON can come out swinging here, if they can go up against a squad like 100 Thieves that everybody's expecting to be more middle of the pack at best, then that really does make a strong case for saying, no, we are a competitor and we're aiming for the top.
It also feels like there's still so much we don't necessarily know about either of these teams, right? Like there's kind of the potential factor for both of them where we're like, okay, LYON had a tough strength of schedule. How do they do against this 100 Thieves lineup that's been underperforming? But underperformance is also the key factor here because we know that these players, in particular River and Quid, are capable of greatness.
So speaking of River, let's go ahead and see what our junglers are up to here. Obviously, that level 1 didn't turn into a whole lot of anything, and everybody's just kind of doing their full clears now. Scuttle Crabs have spawned. River pathing up towards this top side of the map to take out that Scuttle. Meanwhile, Oddie Land taking care of the one down in that bottom side, River himself, because that's the side lane where his team has priority. Meanwhile, River recognizing, hey, if I go up here around where Dhokla's hanging out with this Rumble, there might be an opportunity to continue moving towards SrTT, maybe make a punish thereafter.
And immediately as he said that, he backs.
Yep. Hey, it's an if. It's a prepositional phrase.
I know.
If he keeps going.
Because I love when I was looking at some of their earlier games from this split, right? Like River was still involved like as early as that first matchup against TL, right? Getting first blood in mid lane.
Ooh, 30 flashing away there right after Dhokla flashes in on top of him with the overheat. One more auto attack in the overheated state would have been a kill there for Dhokla.
I I mean, that was really close. And I've got to say, I give a lot of credit to Dhokla for coming back and immediately, as soon as he gets back on stage, he's going for these aggressive moves. He is flashing in on people. He's looking for solo kills. He is not playing, you know, this really defensive style that you kind of associate with top lane in pro play a lot of the time, where people are going to be very respectful of the jungler, very nervous about not giving up a lead. Dhokla's just going for it.
Now he's going forward yet again, wants to get this wave crashed into the turret, give himself an opportunity to take a good recall. Audieland is still hanging up around the area, but the nice part for Dhokla is they have plenty of vision there in that top side river, also on the ramps leading out of the enemy jungle to help keep an eye on where Audieland might be coming from. And Dhokla decides to stick around for another wave, really wants to guarantee that he gets this crashing in and guarantees a good wave state for himself upon returning to the lane.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting if they both end up staying around, because the next wave would actually get them level 6. I do think Dhokla's going to base here, though, and SrTT would not want to be messing with that since Dhokla has the push. If he gets an earlier level 6, there could be an angle for a kill. So both top laners just going to clear that out and look to base. And now the question is, are they heading straight back to top? And for now, it looks like that is going to be where Dhokla is going. So no early lane swaps coming out. Hesitates for a little bit and then just decides the TP, which is going to be matched by SrTT. So we are going to have standard lanes. It feels kind of rare these days that there's neither team swapping.
I mean, honestly, I'm still a fan of it. I've never been a big lane swap enjoyer, even with the delayed state of things, but I always enjoy myself a good 1v1. River down here in the bottom side, though, as Hena keeps continuing to try to get this wave underneath the enemy turret. Quid also moving around from behind as Eyla's ready to set this one up. Grand entrance onto Hena as River's ready to join, and now Quid makes his way further forward. Hena with a flash out. Quid still looking for maybe an opportunity here, but there is not one presenting itself. So 100 Thieves, they wanted to make the move, but Hena gets away with just the flash.
But this is actually kind of cool because now FBI is going to be the one covering mid lane, because otherwise I would say you would be losing a lot there, maybe even a plate to Saint. So FBI has to make the move to actually cover this. They force the flash. They will lose a plate anyway, though, to Saint at the end of the day. And so now we are in a little bit of a lane swap situation, just not the one that you would have expected. Right. Because Quid off of this roam, having no TP, has to stay bot, and FBI has to cover mid.
Meanwhile, topside, it's Big Dokes just continuing to keep that wave shoved up. Rumble versus Melee champions can be such an obnoxious lane state for those Melee champions, even if they do have as many tools as Ambessa does. So SrTT will just continue farming up here. At least for both of them, they were able to grab themselves a good first purchase with their components. But these are not the two men that we expected to be playing top lane for these two teams at the start of the year.
Look how much happier Dhokla looks.
I know. Also, we got the right body. You know,
maybe FBI's been hitting the gym. How do you know? That could be FBI.
All right, let's see if they can bait SrTT into this. He does jump a little bit further forward. Equalizer plus the Cyclone. Public execution isn't going to buffer through any kind of CC there. It's first blood over to Big Dokes.
And really nicely set up by 100 Thieves. They had vision every time that Oddie tried to make something happen, whenever the Rumble was too far pushed up, and then River recognizing that he can go in, get the kill onto that Rumble early. Really good start for 100 Thieves topside.
Yeah, it's great, and they're going to be able to deny, you know, most of, if not this entire wave. It is a cannon wave, so we'll see how quickly SrTT can get back, but there is going to be some lost experience here to be sure. These deaths with no TP always hurt so much more than dying when you can go back.
Ooh, flash from Lyonz for the pulverize into the headbutt backwards on FBI. Forces a trade of flashes as Eyla then has to flash away as well. Hena following up with that Chains of Corruption. Seriously could have threatened his life.
And I think this was actually so well timed from LYON because Hena hit 6. Remember, FBI moved towards mid. It was LYON's bot lane when he was getting pressured that was soaking solo experience, so he had the advantage there.
Okay, Audieland wanting to secure all these grubs, but River nicely done to just sneak in, smite the second grub away, guarantee that LYON won't be able to secure all 3 of those and get the baby Void grub spawns for themselves.
Yeah, it was just great timing. You know, they go for that all-in right as Hena is hitting 6, put that pressure on, and you love to see people playing around those kind of timings. Without 6s on the 100 Thief side, they just couldn't really fight, so they both had to insta-flash out.
And now you see them kind of moving down, taking control of this bot side as well, potentially maybe looking at this first Drake once they're able to get some deeper vision down here.
Okay. LYONz making sure he's getting a little bit of that vision that you're talking about, keeping an eye on the Gromp and the blue buff. However, it is immediately cleared out by the response from 100 Thieves, but Oddie has already started the Drake up. He still has LYONz nearby. He still has Hena hanging out in the area as well, but it is important to remember that Hena does not have his ultimate or his flash or much mana, and now we might have a teleport play coming into the mid lane from 100 Thieves yet again. SrTT having a flash away from the equalizer here in the top side. Dhokla keeping the pressure on as Saint, now the one who's got to be a little bit scared. SrTT's going to burn down. Big Dokes gets another one. Ayla's knocked up into the air by the 3 talent strike. A little bit more damage would finish him off, but Eyla escapes just barely.
Yeah, he gets out, and SrTT kind of overestimating how strong he was in that spot, that he thought he could stay around. I thought Dhokla might have looked for the flash in to actually kill him. He didn't even have to flash. SrTT just kind of stayed in range, ends up getting taken down as he was trying to be around, I think, for some of that additional experience, try to pick up a little bit of CS. And now down 1K on this Rumble. Dhokla, some of the angles he was looking for when he first came in weren't working out, even though he was going for these aggressive plays. In this game, he trades flashes, River gets up there, gets him first blood, and now to follow it up, he gets a solo kill, has the early Leandries. This Rumble is going to be a problem.
Yeah, and this is exactly one of those champions they called out when they did make the swap to Dhokla, where they were like, you know what? Especially with the Rumble and the Scion, these are things that we know Dhokla is a lot more comfortable on than Sniper. So to see him doing so well on this Rumble already in this game, really good harbinger for 100 Thieves.
Especially with just how much of a power pick Rumble is in general, right? Everybody prioritizes this champion. Let's take another look at how Dhokla got it done.
I mean, it was just a really good equalizer here. He's punishing SrTT, but what I was surprised in was that SrTT actually stayed around from this spot, because Dhokla close to overheating, and he kind of just walks too close, got tagged by the Electro Harpoon, didn't have his dashes, and finished off.
Oh, I griefed, my bad. Sorry. Sorry. Rumble North.
Yeah, I mean, he knows it. It's a clear mistake, and, immediately accepts responsibility for it, but does put you in a difficult position, because when you do get behind in these kind of matchups, it is very difficult, because you're just going to be getting constantly whittled down by this Rumble.
Well, Saint now in some danger yet again here, too, as Eyla jumps in alongside River. The quickness seals the deal, and the feat of warfare is claimed. 100 Thieves are up 3-0 in kills 11 minutes into this game.
And I've really liked how active Eyla specifically has been on the map. Obviously, he has that unsealed spellbook, which is where you saw the teleport play that happened earlier in mid coming through. But, the mission is clear. We need to make sure that Quid is in a really good position going into this mid lane. They know that LYON is kind of overloaded on this top side of the map because they did send SrTT down bot to lane against the Corki. So again, just really nice recognition from Eyla and River, who have kind of been a lot more active thus far in this game.
Yeah, no, I've really liked it. I mean, you have to keep champions like Akali in a position where they can play aggressive. If they can't play aggressive, they are useless. And when I think back to 100 Thieves playing against Shopify, I think to this Palafox Quid matchup where it was Ahri into Victor, and where the Ahri kept getting behind, kept getting bullied, was never in a position where she could really do anything. So it feels like they're putting a lot of emphasis this game on trying to get Quid into a good spot where he can look for these all-ins.
And we're hitting some of those first item power spikes here. We already mentioned the early Leandries there for Dhokla after grabbing those first couple of kills, but now the Eclipse is done for SrTT. Both junglers with their items completed, but particularly River, who has been a part of 2 out of 3 of the kills for his team, getting the credit for one of those early Trinity Force on Wukong. Feels so strong with this champion. He's got his flash available. He's got his Cyclone available. He's got everything he could possibly need to make another play.
I'm kind of curious as well about where Hena is going to go with his build, if he's just going to kind of do standard stuff, or if he'll look towards an earlier Wits End with the double AP soul laners that are going to be really threatening him. Because obviously on-hit Varus is what he's playing. He's going to get that Blade of the Rune King first, but I want to know how defensive will he get. Is he just going to go Rage Blade, or is he going to go super defensive from here to try to survive the dive? Because he's going to be the clear #1 target, it feels like, in every single fight.
Yeah, he's going to be the most immobile target, and it's going to be kind of up to the top side of LYON to try to protect him in these fights, right?
And speaking of fights, we've got about 60 seconds until the next Drake spawns. Remember, the first one did go over to LYON early on. And then 90 seconds until the Herald shows itself here on Summoner's Rift. So there is the possibility of just having the team's handshake on those, decide you take one, we'll take the other. Herald generally going to be the higher priority of the 2 objectives at this stage of the game. And we'll see how they want to go about doing that, because especially from the side of 100 Thieves, they really haven't been shy about picking fights. Now Quid's going in, wants a solo kill, and he finds it. Nicely done from the 100 Thieves mid laner. Oddie shows up to at least make sure it's a 1-for-1 trade. That's the first kill of the game for LYON, but it's still 100 Thieves, the bloodthirsty team, willing to go in and look for these things as River just jumps right back out to the safety of the Scuttle Crab after being knocked into the jungle of LYON. Now Oddie could be the one in some danger as FBI is ready to join the fight, but no, it's Eyla dead first. LYON trying to find the continued angle here, and a bit more damage seals the deal. River's gone. Oddie getting it done alongside Lyonz and Hena, and they win the scrap.
And I know a few players have talked about, you know, Oddie and Lyonz have worked together so well. We talked about how they'd have to peel for that Varus. Wasn't expecting to see an example of it so soon, right? But the important thing was Hena being able to land those chains of corruption, be able to free fire throughout that. And LYON's doing a pretty good job of kind of moving 100 Thieves members around for Hena as well.
Yeah, a lot of action here early on. I mean, that solo kill was very clean from Quid. I'm not sure if we're going to watch that or if we're going to watch the previous play.
Here we go.
I want to see, it looked like he actually backstepped the shockwave to avoid it here. Yeah, did barely do it. That was so clean.
That was slick.
Watching that live, I was thinking, did I miss-see that? Because like, that looks so smooth. He is like a pixel outside of the shockwave range, and then here's that engage earlier that you were talking about. It was Eyla looking for the initial engage, but surprise, Hena is in the brush. He did not expect it. The Chains of Corruptions gets landed, and Rakan depends on your mobility so much to survive these engages.
Yeah, and I also liked how Lyonz recognized he had to boot FBI out, right? So he couldn't continuously do damage. Corki is already going to hurt a little bit with that Trinity Force finished and ready to go. Yeah, I've missed this Quid, honestly.
This is the Quid everybody wants to see. This is the Quid that has been in the conversation for, is this guy the MVP? Is this guy first team All-Pro in the past? When we've seen him working together so well with River, it's because he's the guy who can provide the damage. River can provide the setup. Wham, bam, they get the job done. And now it's LYON starting up this Herald. 100 Thieves are in the area. Quid does have ulti and flash here on the Akali. LYON grouped up as a 4-man squad, but 100 Thieves on the approach as their own 4-man squadron. Neither one of the top laners has TP. It will be a 4v4. River about to lose the patience. Eyla goes into the back line, but he's not able to find the target he needs just yet. River putting the pressure here with a Saint. Ayla's low, but he's still not dead. LYON takes him down, and LYON's managed to find a 2-for-1 trade here at the start, but it's still Quid and FBI alive. Quid's got plenty of HP to play with, and the perfect execution is still available. A little bit more damage is all they need, though, and Oddie is on a killing spree. He's chasing down the last kill. He wants FBI. He tags him with a wind becomes lightning, and the last little bit of damage comes from Saint. LYON win the fight and take the lead.
Nicely done there by LYON, and Saint was able to survive for so long, kind of barely out of the initial Cyclone proc there from Rivers. He popped the ulti, couldn't quite connect on him, had to really over chase, and then Oddie, I thought, played it really intelligently, just flashes back over the wall to peel for Saint to keep his mid laner alive. And when they committed so much to Saint early on and didn't get that kill, you knew the fight was not going to be going well. And just like that, they're up 2K, they grab first tower, they take the Herald. That's going to be feats. Grab for LYON. They're looking strong.
I think this also showcases when that initial engage goes wrong, how well LYON can potentially deal with this team composition, right? I did really love, as you mentioned, Azael, the movements from Oddie, recognizing the Quid is still a threat, but then LYON's able to lock him down, get in onto him, and yeah, I mean, I enjoy how LYON kind of soaked up that initial engage, right? Were able to peel for their carries and then go forward.
The early stages of the game, I liked what I was seeing from River, going up topside for the first blood, helping Eyla with the play in mid lane to help get Quid rolling as well. But now these past two fights, Oddie Zhao has seriously been a hero for LYON.
Can I just also point out, Zhao, we thought that he might have been gone. He is not gone.
No, this is like the most. This is jungle of a champion in League of Legends, right? When I think jungle, I think Xin Zhao.
Used to be Lee Sin.
Yeah, hey, man, Lee Sin's falling on tough times.
Yeah.
All right,
We saw him yesterday.
He's in the streets.
Yeah,
I saw him too. He's struggling.
He's living under the
Brother's
bridge.
begging for coins.
He is not having a great time. Xin Zhao's over here living his best life.
Yeah.
Xin Zhao is running the show, and we'll see if LYON can continue using that effectively, as 100 Thieves do have their full 5-man squad down here. Lyonz himself having to back away a little bit. River finds a small amount of damage onto Oddie land, but honestly, that equalizer doesn't really get him a whole lot. Yes, Lyonz has to spend his heal, but it's not the Unbreakable Will, it's not the Flash, and the entire time, SrTT was putting in work on the mid lane tier 1 turret. That's more money for LYON.
And in this mid-game, LYON, after these skirmishes have happened, right, have been able to find so much on the map. As you pointed out, that tier 1 going down in mid, the tier 2 that they've, or the tier 1 going down in bot that they'd already kind of pushed out on the bot side. It just seems like the way that they've been able to take things off the map after these skirmishes and after these fights has been ahead of anything 100 Thieves have tried to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think it's so problematic when a champion like Xin Zhao gets this fed against a composition like 100 Thieves has, because he's always going to have easy access to targets. There are 4 melee champions on the 100 Thieves side, and you cannot win a fight realistically where you're focusing down Oddie land, right? Like, you have to dive past Oddie land and kill the Orianna or the Varus, or you're just going to lose the fight. And when you try to ignore a Xin Zhao that is this fed and has such easy target access, it's a recipe for disaster, which we've seen, you know, in these last couple of fights. He's on a very quick 2 completed items, and I think Oddie land is really set up to carry in this one.
I mean, we've seen about a 3,500 gold swing since 100 Thieves decided they wanted to take that fight in the top side jungle of LYON that they ended up losing. They were 1,000 gold ahead before that. Now it's a 2,500 gold lead for LYON. They're up 14-4 in the petals as well. The Drakes are even, and right as this 3rd Drake spawns, it's Hena and Oddie land who are there and waiting.
Yeah, they're just playing the map better, and I'm really glad that you pointed out Xin Zhao just being able to take over these fights. I saw it last night as well with Lucid, just unable to die as soon as you get that Sundered Sky, right? Because you just pop ult, you have Sundered Sky, you're going to be healing for so much. It's so hard to kill, and he's going to be peeling for these carries in the Orianna and in the Varus.
So my question I pose to you guys then, okay, 100 Thieves, they showed us some good moves in the first parts of the game. They've started to fumble as we've moved towards larger skirmishes and bigger fights. How do you recover and stop this stumbling?
I mean, the plan is still the same. When you have a composition like this, it does one thing, and it does one thing well, and that's dive, right? So you need to find a really good start to the fight. If you can play around vision, if you can surprise Saint or Hena and one-shot them at the start of the fight, you still can win those fights, but it's got to be that perfect engage coming through from River and Eyla.
And the big thing to me is getting Rumble involved too, right? We talked about how both top laners, TPs were down at that kind of crucial fight that really broke open the game for LYON. I think if Rumble was able to get a good equalizer across, really soften up a lot of the LYON members, especially if you're able to get it onto the Ori and the Varus, that really helps out because the initial dive might go so much better for you on a health target.
I mean, it's something that we always talk about, that we've talked about in Pro League of Legends for years and years and years. If you have a fed guy, you need to make sure that you're taking fights that he can be a part of. The other team, their objective is exactly the opposite. But speaking of taking fights, my friend, we now have the opportunity for the best fight to take on Summoner's Rift. Otacon was an absolute terror throughout the series yesterday, constantly causing upheaval and mayhem.
Player of the series, actually.
Yeah,
he truly was just one of the most impactful things on the entire Rift. And today, we'll see if he can do that exact same result, as now Eyla's going to be in some danger here, about to die at the very start. He wanted to try to turn it around onto Hena, and it's LYON's AD carry that's going to die first. Eyla stays alive, but now the rest of the team is joined up. Quid and River going to try to get away, but a nice equalizer coming in from Dhokla forces LYON back. Lyonz, the sacrificial Alistar, gives his life to protect the rest of the carries. SrTT still looking for some kind of a chance to go in here, but FBI's very scary. Saint picks up one back on a Dhokla, but now he's got to try to get away from Quid. 100 Thieves on the hunt, and Quid with a big shutdown. 100 Thieves take the fight.
And that was a LYON going in on that fight initially, right? Like, we're talking about how this 100 Thieves comp, oh, they want to find a window to kind of jump in on them. This time, it's LYONz going a little too deep, going for the catch when all of 100 Thieves are already heading in and able to collapse.
And this was actually crazy that Eyla was able to live there. They dumped so much damage into him. He's down to under 100 HP, but he survives. They get that initial kill there onto Hena. And the problem here is that Hena dies early and Saint is not with the team, right? So they are then able to just focus down this front line pretty easily. SrTT not able to hit on the public execution, so he can't really get involved. This was well done by Saint to kite it out and at least kill Dhokla, but still loses his flash, gets shut down by Quid. And that is a big moment there. 400 Thieves pulling the game back a lot closer, now down only the 1K. And Quid is going to finish, his second item off of that. We have a lot more power coming through, but it's LYON back to live, and they're just straight up going to start this.
Okay, LYON are daring 100 Thieves to come to the Otacon pit and brawl. It's not a particularly swift Otacon take. They've only got rid of about the first half of the HP just now, and 100 Thieves are aware. They're moving everybody over. Quid's down in the bottom lane, but he doesn't have his teleport ready to join. LYON's looking to run some interference. It's stolen away by River. He jumps in and secures the objective in a massive steal, but now the rest of the fight still has to happen. Hena's taking a ton of damage from Dhokla as SrTT finds his way into the back line and manages to eliminate Eyla. Now Quid's jumping through, but he gets shut down before he can complete his acrobatics. Oddie lands still fighting. There's a lot more damage coming out from the lightning, and there goes that rumble. Saint gets the kill credit, but now SrTT and Saint versus FBI, and FBI can't survive. An ace for LYON, but an Otacon for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, 100 Thieves get the Otacon. LYON get the fight. We'll see how they're able to reset the map after this. That was kind of crazy. I want to see how SrTT actually ended up in the back line of this, and also just how River just goes in, steals it, dies for it. That equalizer does end up getting across, but then SrTT is trying to get onto FBI. He actually ends up getting Eyla instead here, which, yeah, it's a really, really split and kind of messy fight coming out of both sides.
Honestly, for 100 Thieves, I feel like you're pretty damn happy about how this fight went, considering you stole the Otacon and River had to die instantly for it, right? I think the equalizer was really well placed. The fact that Eyla was actually able to block that public execution coming in from SrTT bought FBI a lot of space to get some damage down and kept it relatively close. It is, 5 for 3, but you've got the Otacon. I feel like that is a pretty valuable trade. But that being said, we're back to live. LYON will move to Soul Point here. And Dhokla is caught out. Yeah, Dhokla gets hit by the public execution there, fires his equalizer down on the wave to just try to get as much, I guess, pseudo tempo as you can, prevent them from being able to push up, putting any pressure onto that tier 2 turret immediately after getting the pick. Yeah, and we've heard a lot of teams, you were talking about it earlier, Emily, praising LYON, and I've heard, privately from a lot of players that they actually think LYON is the 3rd best team in the league. So people are ranking them quite highly, including Masu and Busio, talking very positively about them on pros.
Yeah, and I feel like thus far in this game, they have had better map play, right? Like, they have played the map a lot better. We had that one kind of snafu with LYONz going in and then the rest of 100 Thieves able to collapse. And then this really split team fight where I agree with you completely, Azael, that 100 Thieves are really, really happy with that kind of Otacon steal and the fact that LYON are going to be pretty much what they get off of it is the first rotation onto that Drake, so they now will be on Soul Point.
My big concern now, though, 400 Thieves is, yes, you've had some close fights. Yes, the game is still close. But when the luxury items, the defensive items start coming through against these kind of compositions, it gets really, really hard. Seekers is up and available. Zonia's will be completed soon thereafter. So we might have back-to-back fights where Saint has stasis. You can see, the magic resist is coming through. It's going to be Wit's End. It wasn't 2nd, but it will be 3rd for Hena. So all of a sudden, you're going to have to commit more and more and more to be able to kill these carries. So you really then depend on the picture-perfect starts to be able to one-shot these guys. Otherwise, it's just so hard to actually win the fight in the extended ones. And you can see in the inventory, you're talking about the Seeker's Arm Guard. The Zonia's following up after. That's looking more like a hat. It is looking like a hat. He got a second round. He knows that he still has the active on the Seekers. He's not really that concerned about upgrading it to the Zonias just yet. And honestly, I respect the hell out of it. Because if you can find a Shockwave when 3 people dive in, if you hit Rakan and Akali and Wukong all with a Shockwave and you have a hat, lights out. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially if he finishes that death cap prior to this big fight that we're going to be looking at in 2 minutes and 45 seconds or thereabouts, where they will have an opportunity to get soul. And hey, if you have a fight right before that and you have to use your Seekers, you're going to be able to still upgrade towards that Zhonya's very likely. So is going to have those options. And remember, LTA North is going to be on next Friday. It is going to be a super week, so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of just the normal weekend days. We will see you all there.
Hell yeah, bro.
I will be there.
Isaac, make sure you give me a call in the morning if you don't see me at call time. Those extra days always scare me, bro. They always scare me when I'm not used to actually needing to be a useful, real-life human person
We'll show
on
up
that
at
day.
your house. We'll
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Just bang on the door. Bang real loud, because otherwise it's hard to wake up sometimes.
I'll be quite honest, I forgot that we were on Friday until I saw the...
But that's why we have the sign.
Right?
It keeps you reminded.
Not
You're locked
today, but
in.
until I saw the lower
people
third
watching
yesterday.
think that it is actually for them. No, it is
No,
for the
it's for
casters
me.
who
It is
work
for
here.
us together to all climb the mountain of knowledge at once. But we do have another mountain that 100 Thieves are going to have to face here in about 2 minutes, and that is the Soul Point Summit here for LYON. If they get that Cloud Soul, man, that thing is so scary for 100 Thieves to deal with, but immediately the Thieves trying to jump in here, find something onto Saint. Hena misses with the Chains of Corruption. Ayla's first to die, though, with a shockwave, turns it around onto River. Quid finally gets Saint, but he dies in the process. LYON still got 4-man standing, and they're ready to keep it going. The double kill for Hena is not the end of the fight, as SrTT locks up FBI long enough for LYONz to guarantee they get the kill. Now with Dhokla left hobbling away, Oddie is in hot pursuit. There is no way Rumble is getting away from Zhao on this one. Oddie very fed, just beating him down here. Does need a little bit more damage. Dhokla might just outplay this. You gotta be kidding me. Dhokla, he gets the solo kill there with the overheat. Oddie disrespecting the empowered melee attacks of overheat.
That was really well played by Dhokla, but I want a replay of that fight because Oddie smurfed this fight. Watch how he disengages Eyla. Eyla goes in, he knocks him back on the ulti. Then he preps his Q3, watches Eyla goes in again to try to jump past him, knocks him up again. That was sick from Oddie. Completely stuffs the engage there from Eyla. Eyla could not get into the backline. River goes down early, as does Eyla, and so the fight just becomes extremely one-sided off of that. You know, we talked about how you have to have these perfect engages, and 100 Thieves couldn't get anything close to that thanks to Oddie.
And then, of course, this the Eyla thing was awesome, and then this was just a little bit disrespecting how much damage Rumble does when he's overheated if you stand there and just have a punch fight with him. And hey, we were talking about stasises for Orianna. We were talking about how these can be useful in making those outplays, and right there, we got one for Dhokla, as we do have our picture-in-picture back to live. The next fight is already breaking out. Quid diving in alongside Eyla, and this time they've already found the kill on the Saint. SrTT's gonna burn down next. 100 Thieves got exactly what they were looking for, but the counterattack is still there a little bit from LYON, not any longer. 100 Thieves, they kill the entire top side, and they aren't done yet. Hena trying to flash away as LYONz finally falls. Hena's about to be the last one. It's a 5-0 ace for 100 Thieves.
Out of nowhere, they're going to be able to get the dragon, get the bear, and 100 Thieves roar to life. They kill off Saint without him even being able to use the Seekers. We got to see that one more time because we were still kind of watching the coach cams. I didn't see exactly how they locked him up and burst him down before he could even get that Seekers off.
Yeah, and again, this is vintage 100 Thieves, right? Like, they locked in a composition where, like, okay, this is risky. You're going to have to dive in. You're going to have to get onto prio targets. The big thing was just being able to absolutely murder Saint on the back line and take SrTT out of the fight really quickly as well.
And this was exactly what you want. Equalizer going over the top, Quid on a flank, Charmin and knock up from Eyla, everything hitting Saint at the exact same time, insta-dies, and then they just full send it here. It was a great pulverize there from LYONz, you know, knocking them both up, but it didn't matter because everyone piles in there from 100 Thieves. Out of nowhere, they are the ones up over 3,000 gold with the Baron buff, and they are pushing.
And Hena has no barrier, no flash. He used both of them, trying to outplay at the very end of that fight for nothing. It is one thing to die, it's another to lose all of your defensive tools in the process of doing it, especially against a team, like we've already talked about so much, that just wants to die. The target on Hena's back is more massive now than ever, and 100 Thieves are continuing to pad their wallets. Tier 2 turret dies in the bot lane, Tier 1 turret dies in the mid lane, gold lead climbs to over 5,000 gold for the Thieves.
Yeah, and this Akali is a problem for the LYON carries, right? If they are able to set up another fight like that, Quid is now like 6, 4, and 8, but again, has the death cap complete, is able to get on to anything, and is a massive side lane threat as well.
And is having the extra shred coming through from Bloodletter's Curse. FBI is getting close to a big spike for himself. He's working towards that Infinity Edge, has been on Collector as that third item for a while, so damage really ramping up, and they're going to potentially look here to at least just zone them off with that Equalizer, so you cannot wave clear this, take another tier 2. They should back up after using that though, but that is a ton of gold they've collected. They're up now to about 7,000 in the gold lead. So just since taking that Baron, it's another 3K on top of what they got from actually killing it off. It's a 5K Red Bull Baron power play.
Exactly. There's still 60 seconds left on that clock and plus 5K already. This is the massive swing. This is what 100 Thieves needed. They perfectly get it right around the time that it also meant stopping their opponents from getting the soul. The timing and the execution were exactly what they needed to be to not just keep the Thieves in this game, but hyper-accelerate them towards the enemy nexus.
Yeah, and for me, it really starts with that Otacon steal as well, right? Like we've talked about what a tricky objective this has kind of been, but that for me, despite the fact that they like technically lost the fight in terms of numbers advantage, the stats and benefits that it gave them was huge. And then again, obviously that bottom river fight is really where they broke the game open. And now it's really difficult for LYON to do anything on the map with the way that 100 Thieves are pushing in on this bot side.
And the IE is done now for FBI, so all of these carries are getting ridiculously strong, and LYON is going to have to slow play it a bit here and try to see if they can kind of farm their way back into the game. Now, their composition does, of course, scale quite well, and Hena and Saint are still going to be strong, but they're definitely on the back end now. And 100 Thieves with this kind of a lead, all of a sudden your engages don't have to be as picture perfect. They don't have to be as clean for it to still result in a teamfight win.
All right, can LYON defend? That is the question on all 5 of their minds right now. 100 Thieves are looking to answer it with a resounding no as they continue choking LYON out of their jungle, setting down all of this vision, sweeping away any wards that LYON tries to lay down, and making it so dangerous for these guys to even try to leave their base. 1 minute left on the timer until the next dragon fight, and 100 Thieves has total control over the bottom side jungle of LYON.
And the big question for me is LYON even going to try to actually contest this, right? Because this wouldn't be a soul for their opponents, and they're really struggling to get any deep vision, even in their own jungle, right? Like, it's been defended so well by 100 Thieves here. I really like how they are playing, just not allowing LYON to get back onto that side of the map. They know that is where their eyes are at, and they know that's still a major win condition for LYON, so they're just fully choking them out of that side of the map.
Yeah, we'll see if Lyonz and Oddie can get some vision on this top side now as 100 Thieves kind of reset and regroup going down towards that bot side for a potential Drake setup.
Okay, Eyla jumps in. Oddie land could be the one in some danger here immediately. River hits him a couple of times. Redemption there for the quick heal. Equalizer, not a ton of value out of this one. 100 Thieves now walking back down towards that bottom side of the river, back down towards the Drake.
Yeah, and that's now no ult for Dhokla with the soul up here. So now LYON might want to actually try to get over there. But with LYON's basing, I feel like they are just seeding it. They're going to not even try. So without division, they're still not feeling comfortable to get over there. I thought the use of the Equalizer might prompt them to attempt it, but they're okay to just give this up. And we are going to go to a max dragon game here, 3 apiece.
And I feel like, I don't know if you agree with this, Isaac, but I feel like LYON as a team have done this historically, like across their time thus far, not just in this split, but earlier, where they do kind of back off and technically usually go for the safer option, like as a unit.
A little bit risk averse.
Yeah, they're way more risk averse than 100 Thieves.
So is everyone, Emily.
Yeah, well, I mean, Not
Were you
yet
watching
this
yesterday?
fight. This is vintage 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I love.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
I mean, it's been one of my favorite things about this team for so long is it's like, yeah, you might beat 100 Thieves in the first fight. You might beat them in the second fight, but they're sure as hell going to take the third fight too.
They're going to keep punching. Yeah, they're just sitting there like swinging away.
Didn't hear no bell.
Well, we might hear that bell here soon, my friends. Ooh, SrTT goes for the public execution, and Quid just casually shuriken flips out of the way of it. That's a pretty big tool for LYON, no longer available. Big target access there for SrTT that now he will not be able to easily find if he wants to put the pressure onto that back line, onto FBI specifically. 100 Thieves have control over the topside river. The Baron has spawned. They know that there's no dragon to worry about for the next 4 minutes. So this is where we're going to dance here on Summoner's Rift. River swooping around here, seeing if maybe there's a flank angle to establish as the rest of his team baits LYON forward.
They didn't spot River.
Yeah.
Now they do.
Okay, he'll walk right into SrTT. Does get tagged by a little bit of an ambessa damage there, so River has to disengage back over the wall with the clone. SrTT gets the better of him on that one. Feeling pretty good about that. And it looks like 100 Thieves are just going to continue hanging out here. Maintain control over the topside River. Okay, we're going to start the Baron up. Oddie will walk forward. See that one immediately. Quid still waiting in the wings, ready for the flank here. Keep your eyes on Hena and Saint. Those are the targets every single time for 100 Thieves. River still hanging out all the way off to the side as Oddie's got to be a little bit careful himself. FBI getting tons of poke as the equalizer falls down right on top of the redemption. LYON have lost half of the HP on their jungler, a third of the HP on their support, and now 100 Thieves are taking that as a green light to go in for the Baron. They've already got it burned down to half HP. Dhokla trying to run some interference, and again, SrTT will not get the public execution. LYON still looking to maybe fight for this. Oddie with the win becomes lightning, but he can't steal it away. The Baron claimed by 100 Thieves. Now Quid trying to get himself out as he finds an assassination on the way to do it. The killing spree for the Akali finally shut down as SrTT takes him out of the picture. It's a 2-for-1 trade favoring LYON, but again, the objective, the Baron, goes to 100 Thieves.
Yeah, the Baron goes to 100 Thieves. I did like how they kept, again, this is kind of more classic 100 Thieves, right? Where they're playing around their ability to kind of trap you into a fight that you don't necessarily want before they end up softening up LYON enough where they feel like they can go for the Baron. Lyonz actually tries to get in onto Quid as at the same time that Oddie is trying to steal the Baron, so it was a little bit split from LYON coming through, even when SrTT is able to clean up Quid on the back half.
It was, but I've got to say, 100 Thieves also didn't do a good job of keeping Oddie out of the pit. That was a straight flip, right? That was incredibly close. You know, both of them got their smite off. He had full vision of the Baron getting low. He got into the pit. If that had gone to Oddie land, it would be a very different look after that fight, a very different conversation after that fight. But at the end of the day, 100 Thieves do still claim it, maintaining about a 7,000 gold lead here. But you can see, you know, Saint soon will be on that full build. Hena is working towards his final item as well. And we've had Quid on full build for a bit. We've had FBI on full build for a bit. So they don't have any more room to grow here. Really on that 100 Thieves side for their carries. Even top lane, Dhokla is on 6 items. I mean, maybe eventually he wants to swap something out for a death cap or whatever. But as of now, these guys don't really get a lot more from gold.
It's the point of critical mass here for the economies of the 100 Thieves players. 20-19 in kills, 39 kills in 41 minutes. It's been a bloody one here in game number 1, and it's less than 45 seconds until what has to be the Dragon Soul, if anybody takes it, spawns. I say if, because 100 Thieves are positioning like they might just want to shove it straight down mid, play base race for Dragon Soul type of League of Legends. LYON now detecting that.
Yeah, Quid's on the flank.
Okay, Quid with the shuriken flip, tags SrTT with that one real quick, but then does not want to jump in on that target. Oddie goes for a little poke, doesn't find it. 100 Thieves continuing to stay mostly grouped up together. Dhokla going to keep this wave pushing forward. He knows he has the Baron for another 30 seconds or so, as LYON still grouped up as 5. SrTT's going to walk over and see if maybe he can answer Dhokla. Meanwhile, the remaining 4 coming around the side looking for the Dragon Soul. Dhokla's going to get the tier 3 turret in the mid lane for free, but the cost is the fact that LYON are in an immediate spot to contest this soul. SrTT on the backside of the pit, but he's on top of a control ward from 100 Thieves. The Thieves are going to be aware that the Ambessa is waiting, looking for an opportunity to go in there. Saint moves the ball forward into the terrain, trying to hide it a little bit.
Yep.
There's the equalizer. Drake secured by Oddie land, but what about the fight? LYON are all knocked up into the air at the same time. 100 Thieves continuing to dive towards the back line. Hena staying alive for now, but River gets the kill. LYON are wiped off the map. They might have got the soul, but it will not matter. 100 Thieves, clean ace.
It's a quadra for FBI, and just like that, the game is gonna end. LYON got the soul, but the Thieves are gonna take the Nexus.
Welcome back, 100 Thieves. I've really missed you. Like, winning through team fights, the bread and butter of this team, and they got it.
The Nexus turrets can't do anything more about it than the team could in the fight. 100 Thieves, show them how it's done, and take the first game.
And it looked like LYON, just all of their focus was on securing the soul. I think they even spent the shockwave to get that dragon. Didn't think about the fight. Lounge, what do you think went wrong?
I think it was a classic 100 Thieves game. I don't know if that's something that went wrong. I feel like something went right.
Something went real right. You know